All right, you guys, what is up? We are heading over to the shop today because earlier this week we got probably the most exciting thing that we've ever gotten in the shop. And so we ordered a 53-inch wide dual head belt sander, which hopefully is a complete and total game changer. And so I'm just going to give you guys a glimpse into it today. And yeah, let's wrap up and head over that way. I'm pretty pumped about it because it should really speed up our production in a major way. And also really excited about it because this is one of those tools that since I started my business back in 2017, I was working out of my garage and doing a couple grand a month and didn't know what I was doing. I dreamed of getting a tool like this, but what's really cool is that, you know, I thought maybe I'd end up getting like a 37-inch single head belt sander or something eventually, which is a really expensive tool, but we were able to get a 53-inch dual head sander. So what that should mean is that we can laminate a tabletop, glue up a tabletop, and push it through, have like 80 grit on the first sanding head and like 120 grit on the second sanding head, and it pops out and it's basically done. If that's the case, it's gonna take our sanding time from around 2 hours a top to about 10 minutes a top. This thing should end up being an absolute workhorse for us because we're going to run everything through it. Everything that we possibly can. Just a really exciting time for Iron by Iron Woodworks. There's lots of good things happening. There's lots of challenging things happening at the moment for the business. We're in kind of a wrestling match with the city to get permits and do a bunch of stuff, and it's delaying production. Just FYI, if you're going through a difficult time or you're struggling in your business, hey, so are we. But there's, again, lots of really great positive things happening. So we're here, we're gonna turn the truck off. Let's go check out the sander. All right, so here it is in all of its glory. So this thing weighs over 5,000 pounds. It was kind of a beast to get in here. So we had to run down the road to another company to get a forklift to help us. So it's an SCM, which is, through a lot of research, we found this to be probably one of, if not the best company that produces this really high-end commercial equipment like this. The DMC SD70, what that means is I don't know what that means. And so, but this is a dual head sander, which is awesome. So we've got, when we open this cabinet up, which we're not gonna unwrap it today because we wanna wait and hold off on that till we have everything lined up. But we should have two heads in here. You can come and you can kind of take a look real fast. I don't know if you can see it real good, but here is where we're gonna feed the material in. And so we've got 53 inches from there to there. We got a digital readout, which will be super nice. And then also another really cool feature on this, and you can't really see it that great, but there's a little indicator right here. You may have to come over here from this side. You can see it, this little black thing. What you do is you take your workpiece and you set it on that and then push it underneath that ledge. And what'll happen is it's gonna read the thickness of the workpiece, and it's gonna basically either recommend or automatically adjust your settings for optimal settings for running your passes. So really pumped about that. I mean, this is a really, really, really high-end quality machine that should hopefully end up saving us about $2,000 to $4,000 per month in labor costs as well, and speed up our production by probably about 15 to 20%. So as you guys are thinking through, how do I get faster? How do I get more done? Constantly be looking at what type of equipment can I replace human labor with that will speed us up. And also give us a more predictable quality product, okay? Another couple things I want to show you while we're here is this big guy. So we got this dust collector as well from our contact, and he's out of Dallas, Fort Worth. He told me that he had a used dust collector. I didn't realize that it was going to be as big as the sander, but this is a really, really, really nice dust collector. This is a Laguna T-Flux I-Micron, but this is a 3-phase dust collector. And so what we're going to probably end up doing is tucking this right here beside it. And so when you start getting into this type of equipment, one thing that you've got to have is you got to have a big shop because this stuff has a big footprint. I wish that it didn't. I wish that this stuff was smaller, but it's got a big footprint. So another couple pieces, come with me real quick, just to this dust collector, is we've got these drums, these dual drums. So both of these guys are basically where all of the dust is gonna get dropped, get collected, from what I understand. So we're gonna have to do a little diving in, make sure that we fully understand everything as we go to get it set up. But hopefully this will help us control the dust, because one thing about that wide belt sander is that the amount of sawdust that it pulls is insane. And so the only other thing is that we had to get a compressor as well. So we picked up this compressor also from Phil over in Dallas. I'll let you know the name of the company that he works for, that he owns. This guy's used, but he's in great shape. So that's essentially everything that we've got going on. So we're excited to hopefully get this thing up and running within the next few weeks. We got to do a lot of 3-phase electric work. And so we have a three-phase panel in our building, but the problem is that that thing pulls like 110 amps. And so I think our board only puts out 100 amps. So we have to change the amount of amperage supply to the building and change the panel as well. So obviously you can tell by my lingo that I'm not an electrician. That's not my specialty, but I'm excited about having that thing up and running. It should allow us to move a lot faster. And so if you guys have any questions about the sander, let us know. We'll also, once we get it up and running, once we get the electricity run to it, we get the dust collection set up, get the compressor set up, everything's functioning as it should, we will make sure to come in and do another video for you guys, really walking you through how it works, opening the machine up, letting you take a look at it. A lot of you guys may be wondering as well, like, what does a machine like that cost? So you can go the used route on wide belt sanders and save a lot of money, to be honest. We didn't go the used route, we went the new route because of a few reasons. Number one is a warranty that comes with it. Number two is that we get training, expert training with that product as well. And then from an asset standpoint, it's an asset that's worth more money. Now, are we paying a little bit more for it? We are paying more for it, but something like that basically replaces your entire sanding process, because all we'll have to do is when that tabletop pops out, we'll just have to essentially router our edges, maybe palm sand for a couple minutes, and then we're ready to put stain on, which is game changing. Like I said earlier in the video, the average time that it takes us right now to really prep and stain a tabletop is usually 1.5 to 2.5 hours, depending on the size. And so if we go from that to it just taking about 10 minutes to run through that thing, it's really going to be worth its weight in gold. It's also going to be consistent, as long as we don't screw it up or break it, it's always going to be here, it's always going to feel like working, right? So that's a huge benefit to it. But when we look at the price tag on something like that, that's a $60,000 machine. Okay, so this is another thing that I talk to you guys a lot about, or I'm definitely starting to talk to you guys a lot about, is the power of leveraging credit, the power of leveraging relationships with the bank. And here's the truth about the bank, is that they don't want to loan you any money if you don't have any money. They don't want to loan you any money if you don't have anything predictable. So you've got to grow your business, get some predictable revenue, get some backlog, and you can get lines of credit, and you can also get commercial loans on pieces of equipment like this. And so this is a $1,100 a month payment or $1,200 a month payment for something like this. But when we look at how much money we spend in labor to sand versus how much we're spending on this, we're actually in a net positive of $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And so we're going to reallocate all the other guys to do other jobs now, as opposed to just sanding all day long. And so I know that they're probably going to appreciate that, hopefully. But these are the decisions that you have to think through and that you have to make when you're trying to be wise around finances. And so I see this most of the time. What kills small businesses, number one, they don't have enough leads, they don't have enough business flowing in, and then number two is they don't really allocate capital, they don't really allocate their money very well. So as we're thinking through these types of decisions, how do you make wise decisions, we're constantly looking at risk versus reward. And so what was the risk on this? Well, we had to buy it, we had to take out a loan. What's the worst thing that could happen? We get it and we blow it up or something, right? That's why we got the warranty, okay? The reward on this is that we start seeing a net positive in the business of around $2,000 to $3,000 per month. And another really awesome benefit of something like this is, like, let's say that I wanted to take on a restaurant job that's 40 tabletops. Well, used to, that would shut my shop down for a week and a half to do 40 tabletops, and I would basically pause all my cash flow from retail clients and regular dining table sets and stuff like that. But with something like this, we could take on restaurant jobs, commercial jobs, push those puppies through, and we could do 20 tabletops a day, be done in 2 days, and collect, let's say, $25,000 or $30,000, right, as a result of that. So it's stuff like this that opens up more possibilities and more capabilities for the business. And so if you guys have any questions about the sander, I actually linked to the website to this particular model in the description below. But if you have any questions about anything, let me know. Let me know in the comments. Hit me up on Instagram. But other than that, guys, I love you, appreciate you. I'll see you in the next one.